What is up, YouTube? Dottz Gaming here, and welcome to my 2H Frost Guide. So, I'm going to structure this guide the same way I structured my DW Frost Guide. The first video is going to focus on my talents, my glyphs, my stat priority, and gearing. The second video will be about my macros, and my third video will be about just a general rotation, when to do certain things, and how to use certain abilities. So, to get right into the talents. This is the talent spec I ran in 6.1 when I played 2H Frost for like the 2 days at the end of the season and while I was gearing him, and it's the same spec I play now. The first tier, Plague Leech, Plague Bearer, and Unholy Blight honestly don't have that much use for us. Plague Leech is just, it is the go-to option for Frost to give us 2 more death runes and allows us to toss those into our Obliterate and whatever abilities we need. It just gives us much more versatility than with Plague Bearer and Unholy Blight. With 57, Lichborn is just too good to pass up. AMS and Purgatory are both really bad, and Lichborn gives us that 10% leech and the trinket from Charm, Fear, and Sleep, as well as the immunity to those things. So the 58 tier is going to depend on your comp. Again, Chillblains for stun heavy comps and Asphyxiate for lightly stun comps. But honestly, I generally prefer to run Asphyxiate no matter what. It's just the way I like to play it. You know, obviously, again, if you have a lot of stuns in your comp, run Chillblains. But generally, I choose to run Asphyxiate. For my 60 talent, I would not recommend running Blood Tap. I don't like it. I've tried it, and it just doesn't feel right with 2H Frost. It just doesn't work for me. Being that Runic Corruption gives you more runes over time than Blood Tap, and being that we really need to hit Obliterate as much as possible, being that our damage here comes from our runes and not from our runic power, unlike DW Frost, I like running Runic Corruption. I've tried Runic Empowerment because I heard good things about it, but I found I had a much more fluid rotation with Runic Corruption, and I felt myself waiting on my runes a lot less when I ran Runic Corruption. Also, Runic Empowerment, you might get a really crappy RNG and not get a rune you need, while Runic Corruption makes all of your runes generate faster. The 75th tier, I like to run Death Pact due to the fact that, again, you want to use as many of your runes on Obliterate as possible, and like, if you have free runes, those free runes are going to be going into things like Icy Touch and Chains of Ice. I don't want to use my runes for Death Siphon. You know, like, if I'm dying and need a big heal, Death Pact doesn't cost me any runes, heals me for 50% of my health. It's just that big bursty heal that I need. And I'm sure you could run Death Siphon. I've tried it before. I like running Death Pact more personally because I feel like I can stay more offensive and like keep going on somebody, and when they think they're getting me low, boom, press Death Pact, immediately 50% health back, and I could just keep going. I don't have to change my whole playstyle and back off and go defensive. Like, you can stay more offensive, in my opinion, with Death Pact. If you wanted to run Death Siphon, I would maybe try it with Blood Tap, because Blood Tap will regenerate your runes as Death Runes, so you have more Death Runes to push into Death Siphon. But because you're not going to be Frost Striking as much in this spec as you would be with DW, I would just recommend running Death Pact. 90 tier, Desecrated Ground, always. Remorseless Winter is bad, just very bad. And Gorfine's Grasp only has really some use in RPGs. Now the 100 tier. The 100 tier and the what's it called? The 100 tier and your 58 tier, I believe, have some connections here. I generally like to run Asphyxiate when I run Breath of Sindragosa, because if you can try to force a trinket from somebody and then asphyxiate them, they will have to sit in your Breath of Sindragosa for a long ass time. While Necrotic Plague is a good like sustain talent that, you know, when it's spread around, you know, you can keep it on people with Chillblains can talking super fast. Sorry, I gotta gather my thoughts here. Chillblains will be active on everybody because Necrotic Plague just spreads itself. But I just prefer the Breath of Sindragosa playstyle when I'm playing 2H Frost, because if like I wanted to run a sustain like type of spec, I'd be playing DW Frost. I wouldn't be playing 2H. I feel like 2H's biggest strength is its burst, so I want to focus on that strength as much as possible by, you know, running my stun and running my breath to get as much burst as possible. Glyphing is the same as DW. These are the 3 glyphs I run most of the time. I will sub in things like Dark Sim for regenerative magic against mages, Empowerment and for regenerative magic in 2s, Shifting Presences if I need to worry about shifting into blood really quick to, you know, prevent myself from getting instantly blown up. Because the good thing about 2H is it can sit in blood and have less of a penalty, like it'll lose less damage. Because again, your damage is focused more on Obliterate and not as much on Frost Strike. So, I'm not going to bring my gear up because of the fact that, like, well, I'll just bring it up anyway. But this is my DW set, so you can, like, ignore most of this. The stat priority for 2H is versatility first. Well, strength before all, obviously. But versatility first, because it's a flat damage increase to everything. And besides strength, Obliterate only really scales with versatility. The second thing would be haste, faster rune regeneration, lower GCD. The third stat would be Mastery, because it gives your Breath of Sindragosa more damage. It gives your Frost Strike and your Howling Blast more damage as well. The fourth stat would be Multi-Strike, and then Crit would obviously be last because, you know, Killing Machine. That gives us our crits. In terms of gearing, you give no shits about your 4-set bonus. Your 4-set bonus means nothing to you. You want to focus on getting versatility on as many pieces as physically possible. That is your priority numero uno. Just getting pure versatility. Again, your set bonuses do not matter. So that's pretty much it, dudes. That covers everything with talents, glyphs, stat priority, and gearing. So stay tuned for the second and third video in the series. Please like and subscribe if this helped you at all. I'm Dottz Gaming, guys. As always, have a good day.